What I would like to do is I'd like to actually pull the story. And of course, the story, broke yesterday, and everyone was talking about it. Now, I'm going to pull from Windows Central because one, I happen to know Jez Corden personally. He wrote this story. He published it. I read it. I used it. So I want to give him where credit is due. I will have this linkable in the show notes once the show goes on video on demand. You can just click it if you haven't already read it. I would read it. It's a really good piece done by Jez Corden. And of course, the lead title, folks, is Xbox Game Pass is getting a major change with a new tier without day one games and a range of price increases. And again, one of the things I keep telling people that I really, really dig about Windows Central and the way they write their articles is the what you need to know section. And it really does kind of give you a lumped up amount of information of what the article is about and what has been happening. So it goes on to say this: Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's all-you-can-eat gaming subscription service, incorporating hundreds of games and day one releases from Microsoft's internal studios, including ABK titles like the next Call of Duty. Similarly to Netflix, Spotify, and other services, Microsoft is now increasing the price across all of its existing tiers, including console, ultimate, and PC. Additionally, new users will not be able to sign up for Xbox Game Pass for console. A new standard tier is coming soon, which I believe that is launching in September, which will not include day one games, but will include hundreds of strong back catalog titles similar to EA Access, and of course, it's going to also include Xbox Live Gold for multiplayer. Listen, Kay, this is the talk of the town. Now, there's been some really powerful points from members of the community. There's been some really egregious takes, both from the community and certain journalists, which I find to be not surprising in an era where Xbox, whether they do, look, folks, here's the thing. And before I turn it over to Kay Asante, I think it's safe to admit and say publicly, when Xbox's June showcase finished, there were a lot of people, even some of the naysayers were like, yep, this was it. But the ones that will remain nameless, like Voldemort, because we don't want him coming in and mucking up the place, had egregious takes on the showcase, which, listen, it was an 11 out of 10. It was flawless. So this bad news happens, and it's bad news. It's not a good look. It's a bad look. Anytime you get a price increase, it's a bad look. End of story. Some of the takes by the same journalists, well, we know that if there is one particular terminology that is going to reign supreme in 2024, it is search engine optimization. And of course, that is SEOs, which has become the thing to chase because you get clicks. And when you get clicks, you get subs. And when you get subs, well, you get money. And we see that Xbox is the brand to pile on. But let me reel this back in. Kay Asante, let's talk about the price increase. Let's talk about the tiers. And let's talk about what is kind of got you a little bit that you want to give Microsoft the well-deserved business.
Sure. So, okay. First and foremost, this is par for the course, right? We know this. All of your favorite subscription services, prices go up, right? I think that Microsoft has successfully turned for the TV and movie audiences that love their Netflix, right? No matter how much they drip, small by little increase prices, you are not getting off of that, because although they don't give you what you want, they give you what you need, which is needed entertainment when you need it. So, like, I don't foresee, within reason, I don't foresee anybody canceling a Netflix subscription, even though I think it's like what, $25, $28 a month now at some point.
Almost $30. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. So, and it wasn't that way in the beginning. It used to be like low 10s, 15, barely, right? And little by little, it's coming up. So they have provided a service that people consider valuable, and people are paying for it, right? And these companies, this company specifically listens. We have always advocated for, hey man, this is the greatest deal in gaming. I don't think these price increases change that, right? It's still, right now, the greatest deal in gaming. Although the tiers have muddied the waters, right? Now, so I will say, you can call that what I'm saying here damage control if you want. This is all the preamble, and then you say the but. And anybody that knows anything knows that anytime you say anything before the but, it's a little less than, and now we'll give them the but. But two things that I think are very wrong here, right? The price increases don't matter. And by the way, just so you know where I'm coming from, I am a digital hoarder, and I am a PC gamer, right? And being a digital hoarder and a console gamer together means that I will always get the top tier. I just will, right? And I will always want to get the top tier. I love playing on all manner of consoles and PC, so ultimate. So I have no dog in this fight. Yes, the price will increase, but I still have no dog in this fight because I've been stacking since before it was called Game Pass, right? When it was the beta program, this and that, I was still stacking, right? So at this point, whenever anybody asks me what the price of Game Pass is, I couldn't tell you because I'm always stacked 2-3 years ahead of time. And it's always at a very good discounted rate because that's how the stacking works, right? So I have no dog in this fight. I will continue to do what I have always done and it'll be fine. But here is my problem, right? For a long time now, you guys know, if you've watched my content, if you've heard me on this show, you know that I'm the well actually guy. I'm the guy that tries to temper expectations. I'm the guy that says, hey, well, calm it down. You hear it over and over again. Console gamers are like, we feel like second-class citizens. I go, stop being emotional. Calm down. Let me tell you why, the technical reason why maybe your patch didn't get there on time versus the PC. Or why is it that your 30 frames are not 30 frames, are not 60? I'm always the guy that wants to give you the logical reason why these things did not happen. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you are a second-class citizen, right? In this specific case, I got nothing. And it bothers me. I got nothing, right? If you're going, and what I mean by that is they're eliminating stacking, or they're making stacking more limited for console players, right? And yes, they're trying to do away with the console tier altogether. That is very odd to me. I get why they're doing it because obviously not everyone is like me. Not everyone plays all the games. Some people, it might not even be advantageous to your wallet because you don't get to play day and date. You're busy playing old games. And by the time you get to the new game, it's another old game, right? Not everybody played Hellblade 2 when it first came out. So maybe you pay a discounted rate, you pay a smaller fee, and you still get access to it whenever you get a chance to play it. It's a cost savings for you, and they get to diversify their portfolio, right? Not everybody wears a size 12. Some people wear size 10, some people wear size, you know what I'm saying? Like that's presumably what the idea is, right? But if you're going to eliminate or limit stacking, but you only do it for console players, what are you telling console players, right? And again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm the guy that always tries to.
It's not for console players, Case Not. It's for that specific console. Well, that's SKU that's going away, right?
Yes,
they don't want you to keep that forever and ever.
But that SKU is not going away because there are a lot of grandfathered. There are a lot of grandfathered people in that SKU, and they'll continue.
And I'm curious about that. Are there?
I looked for that, like the numbers, because that's look.
I'm sure that most of them are ultimate subscribers. I'm sure of that. Most subscribers are ultimate subscribers, but it's a bad damn look. It really is. It's a bad look. And let me explain it this way, right? If you want to get rid of that tier, right? Let's talk brass tacks. If you want to get rid of the stacking in that way, you don't tell everybody you're getting rid of the stacking in that way. You are the one that hands out those cards. Those third-party vendors don't magically invent those cards. Those cards are delivered via Microsoft to those third-party vendors who then give it to them at a discount, and they sell them as they sell them. If you want that tier to go away, just make those cards harder to find. There's no need for announcement. There's no need for, hey, second-class citizen, here we are. No, it just looks bad. It really does.
Well,
everyone else gets
really
to keep stacking.
Is telling you that you have a year. That's what
exactly.
Because otherwise, you're paying, the whatever was it, $10.99, $11 a month.
Yes,
like that.
It just looks bad. You can easily in the background go, you know what? Those cards, those specific cards for that tier, yeah, we're gonna give less and less of those. say nothing. Everything will keep it moving. No one's going to be in the street going, have you seen those cars? That's it. No, it'll just kind of, instead you got to put it on Front Street. Hey, second class citizen, get over here. You're no longer welcome. Like, it's that part. There is no real, like, explainable, logical reason for it. You're just asking for smoke in that instance. Okay, that's one part that I have an issue with. The other part that I have an issue with, you recently announced a partnership with Amazon.
Yes.
For cloud for the cloud gaming, right? Great. I've been messing around with it. Lots of people messing around with it. It's an interesting thing, right? Yes, it's true that probably most of the subscribers are not cloud subscribers, but presumably with all the Amazon influx of individuals, there will be more Amazon cloud focused gamers out there.
Yes.
Most likely, because there's a big contingency of Fire Stick owners. And oh, by the way,
200 million of them.
Yes.
At last count.
And oh, by the way, the Fire Stick, the top tier new Fire Stick is now peanuts on $1 for a short amount of time. So
Mine
a lot more people
today.
are buying it. Yes, they're like $30 for the top tier and $20 for the mid tier. Like, they are really, really pushing those units. So presumably there will be people who are like, hey man, you know, I've not really gotten into this waters. Maybe I'm an Xbox, maybe I'm a PlayStation gamer, but I have this $25 thing, and now because of that, I can have access to Game Pass. Why not give it a try, right? When you do that, and then the only offering you have for the specific cloud tier doesn't have day and date, it's a little bit of a bad look.
The Ultimate still has day and date.
No, we're not talking Ultimate. We're talking about
there's only one that has cloud has been Ultimate. They've never had it in any other tier. Cloud is only available in Ultimate.
I know. There should be one that's cloud, is what I'm saying. There should be a specific cloud
that'd be a whole new tier.
No, but that's my point. You give standard, which no one wants, and then I mean, let's be clear. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. No one wants the standard tier. That's ridiculous.
It's the point of my video is I don't understand the point of standard.
Exactly. And so there you go.
By the way, to be fair, I also don't understand console. I don't understand that tier either.
Sure. But my point is, you make big hay about, hey, no console, no problem. Great. So are you telling me if you're going to be no console, no problem, you're going to expect these people to pay $20 a month? That's the price of the hardware that they bought. It costs them $20 to get the dang Fire Stick, the mid-tier version. And then they'll pay another $20 every month just to be able to use it on your service. That's bananas. Where is the $5.99, $6 tier that gives you access to the cloud only?
Cloud.
But then and also the games, right? So I don't know. That's an interesting one, but
there needs to be more thought put here. It seems like they like, once again, like they did last time, and people were kind of critical of it. It seems like they did this with an effort to push people in one direction versus another, and not more thought was put into it beyond that. And to me, that for a company who's very susceptible to PR blunders, this is yet another one that can potentially be seen as such, right? But that's where my smoke is on that. It's like, y'all should have thought about it a little bit more. Y'all should have threaded that needle a little bit better. Maybe I should have seen somebody on a couch having some explainers rather than it coming out the way it has come out, right? But as far as the prices going up, if you didn't think the prices were going up, sir, I have a bridge to tell you. It's called the Brooklyn. Like, come on.
Indeed.
Like, we all saw this happening. We saw this happening a while ago. We can't all claim to be insiders, but some of us have been telling you to stack for some months now. Maybe you know why. Some of us have been like, hey, now it's time to stack. I've said this many times.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about this for over a year. We all said it like live on the air that once the ABK deal was done, there was question as to whether or not Call of Duty would be in Game Pass. The minute they announced it this year that it was coming into Game Pass, we were one of the first shows to be like, that's coming.
I'll even push further and say, let's imagine we live in a world where ABK was not where Call of Duty was not in Game Pass. I still think the price increase comes because everything you saw, most of them were not ABK. They were all Xbox proper, and still it justified a price increase. Call of Duty alone was not the catalyst here. Obviously, it helped, right? Obviously, it did. But even in a world where you didn't own Call of Duty, all these prices go up, man. Disney Plus goes up, Netflix goes up. like when you go from acquisition mode, which is what they were as far as consumer acquisition, hey, we're trying to get as many customers in here as possible. Then at some point, it's time to start raising the price because everybody's talking about how valuable it is, right? So even before ABK was a solid situation that came a part of this equation, I was not under any fooled in any way to think that it was going to stay the same price. Oh, $1, try it for $1. Yeah, all that was in the beginning, and expected that the honing and all of that will continue, right? So I would say yes, ABK is a factor in the equation, but I wouldn't say ABK was the catalyst. It's been brewing for some time.
Hargeet, I want to go to you. You did an amazing video. You broke down exactly what we were just talking about, but let's first get into the price increase. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, the price, we all knew it was going to go up. And like, do I like it? No. Is it the end of the world? No.
No.
Like I didn't even bother going into that in my video. I'm like, look, the value is still there. I don't see that being an issue. We all knew it was coming. It was going to go up. And even if you, like you're saying, Case Hunter, it may not be ABK specific. Just look at the rest of the world, right? Like if you went from the 15 to 20, it's a 33% increase. Inflation has been doing that to everything. So this isn't new. It's not like it's unexpected. You look at like PlayStation went up. Was it last year? Or was it this year where they bumped it up? Right?
Yeah.
This has just been coming. Everybody's been dealing with it. You're just gonna have to unfortunately deal with price increases. I hope they don't go to like $75 or $80 games, but that probably will happen too at some point, ridiculously. But that's where we are, right? So put that aside. I think like the tiers are the one that really bothered me, but like the $15, that just seems stupid to me. But price increase wise, specifically, if we just want to talk about that, yeah, it goes up for Ultimate for $3. I don't think that's the end of the world. It sucks. It does.
It does suck, but it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. And keep in mind, the whole time you've been able to get these codes, you can go to any one of these discount code sites and get for under $10 a month, you're going to get a code to get 3 months of Game Pass. So just keep looking for those. You can get 1 month increments. You can get 3 month increments, right? And just go ahead and stack it. And again, stacking is still available, right?
I just put it in the code. I put the code in the chat. People can still go get it. It's $27 for 3 months right now.
Right now,
there's plenty of those, right?
Yeah,
they're still available. Yeah.
So go get those and you can stack, and like stacking is still 100% available on console and everything. It's just the only thing that's changed. If you're in that Xbox console Game Pass tier, which became irrelevant to me once they brought Xbox Live Gold into a Game Pass tier. I don't understand why anybody would be on that tier anymore, because now you basically have one or the other, right? It didn't make any sense. You couldn't have Gold because that was gone. So you could not play online and have the console tier, or you could have online and no Game Pass, or you get Ultimate. So there was really no real reason to be in that middle tier. It just didn't make any sense anymore. So now at least they made that new tier have online access, but I still don't get it. For $5 difference, it just doesn't make sense to me. But we'll get into that later.
The amount that you don't get for that $5, literally that $5 you're talking about, is access to EA Play, cloud gaming, day-and-day games. It just doesn't make any sense. Why does that even exist?
So the difference also, by the way, is PC access. You just get console. You don't get PC as well as console.
Yep.
So I mean, if we want to get into that piece of it, I can go into it. So what I think is that standard tier is a bad idea altogether. I just don't see the value for the customer. And when you make a change like this, there's two ways to go about it. There's the way that both PlayStation and Xbox did it right now, which is take the price increase and go away. Or you put in a WIFM, which is a what's in it for me, right? What are you doing for me as the customer?
As a consumer,
right?
Yeah.
And instead of it just being a price increase, you say, hey, we've created this thing. We've added this capability for you. We've added this feature for you. You give them something, right? They didn't do anything, right? So my video basically just says, get rid of that standard tier, because there's just no value to it. Even if you said, hey, I could take that one, and in say less affluent countries, I offer it at like $8 to $10 per month, right? It's cheaper. There's no cloud access. You've now added the requirement that you still have to buy an expensive console. So you've taken away the whole thing of having a cheap way to access your environment, right? Your ecosystem. Like, I just don't get what that tier does.
Yeah.
So I say get rid of it. And, instead of having standard be this weird thing, standard should just be what ultimate is. Ultimate should just be the standard, right? So you have, core, if you just want online, PC, which has everything,
and ultimate,
and then
yes,
and then standard. And then for me, what ultimate is you have a much more expensive one that has the subscriptions that they have. So ESO or Fallout 76 and World of Warcraft and all those. You just add a tier that includes your subscription services, right? So that way it makes it compelling.
How about even Ubisoft Plus, adding that,
right? And then if they can work the deal, add Ubisoft Plus, add EA Play Pro instead of just the lower tier, right? Now you have something that I'd be willing to actually subscribe to, if it's $30 or $35, because now the value delivery is so much higher, right? Because now I'm getting all these other services that are like $15 each themselves. Cool. Now you're giving me something, right? And most of those would be their own. You could also offer, hey, this version comes with the deluxe edition of games or the ultimate edition of games, right?
Yes.
So instead of I get just the basic edition of Starfield, I get the full one that gives me the early access.
$30,
I just get the early access, right?
Yes.
Now I'd be willing to pay extra for that, right? You give me bennies. You gave me nothing. You just basically said, here is a price increase, take it. It's like, no. Like, and they used to be good about that, right? They used to be good about like, hey, we're changing things, but we've given you these cool things. That's a much better proposition than what they've done here. And so, like, the middle tier that they just created, I mean, the Game Pass console thing kind of became bogus because of the inability to have that plus online access, right? Once they took gold and made it part of Game Pass.
Bonehead move. Sorry,
it was just weird, and like you're in this limbo mode where it's like I either have online or I don't, and like, so you had to go to Ultimate anyway. Right. And it's like, if you're doing that, you might as well just get rid of the freaking tier. It just doesn't make sense. So to me, that's what needs to happen. They need to get rid of this stupid, weird standard tier thing and make standard what is ultimate. That should be your standard, because that's what makes sense. That's what people will want anyways on console. And that gives you access to everything. Right. So you get PC. Now, if they want to do one that takes away PC access, fine. That's a possibility. Maybe that makes it a bit cheaper. Right. And then ultimate, is the one that includes PC, console, all the subscriptions and everything. That's a potential as well, right? So maybe standard is 17 again, and standard is not going to include PC.
Hargeet, let me ask a question, and you give me your take on this, right? Since we've already agreed that we won't ever get the full details of those numbers, but I suspect that the bulk of subscribers are ultimate subscribers, right?
We already know it's 2/3 are ultimate,
yeah,
and then the rest is a mix of core and PC. I don't know how many would be on console.
So I guess my question is, since we know the bulk of them are ultimate subscribers, and we always know that Microsoft spends a lot of time looking at those numbers, what's to say that they don't see the numbers that says that they want the customers that are not us, right? They're definitely not us, because we're all ultimate subscribers.
Right.
The customers want a cheaper, easier way of getting in. Like I said, not everybody plays day and date games. Some people have to have jobs and lives and don't make too much effort to play the game day one.
The question is,
that's why those lower tiers are there. That may be the metrics for that.
Yeah, and that's what it says. I don't know if there are metrics that suggest that 17 was too much, but 15 would be just right. Right. And that's the part where it's like, really? Somebody would be that petty to say 15 is okay, but 17 wasn't?
Hey, like, man, it's that psychological perception, man. $15 is not as much as $17, and 17 seems way too much.
Yeah.
And,
it's weird.
It's a funny thing that I was mentioning this on C Money's. Like, dude, like a normal freaking meal these days, if I just go to a restaurant, is more than that, right? It'll probably cost me $30-$40 with tip, right? And we're worried about $2, $3. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. It's like, dude, for $20 a month, the amount of stuff you get is insanity, right? But we all look at things from certain perspectives and say, oh, well, that's a lot of money. Is it really? Like